Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm starting all over again. So sorry to have gone away for a bit, but we're all here now. Now, as I started off the first time, it's all about what we wanted to look at today is, if you want, injustice. If you have a perceived injustice, what can you do about it? Well, a number of things, but the body that's been set up specifically by the federal government for this is the Public Complaints Commission. And this goes back to 1975 when they were established. There have been all sorts of legal, constitutional tinklings with it, but it's been there. It started life in 1975. And as the vision statement of the commission, they say it is to restore, and I'm reading directly here from their website, their vision statement is to restore the dignity of man through the enthronement of rule of law and the protection of the individual or organization against administrative injustice. And heading up the commission for Lagos, we will talk about that, is Funsho Olukoga. Mr. Olukoga is a legal practitioner. He's also commissioner for Public Complaints Commission, the Lagos State Office. They have a chief commissioner, in Abuja, and every state is represented by, a commissioner as well. Thank you very much for coming on the program, Funsho Olukoga.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, the first thing I want to ask, especially when I looked at that vision statement, it's a vision. It's a vision. First of all, this is not really, a new barbecue to you. You've been in the job from,
2012.
From 2012. Now, I want to ask, how busy has your commission been in terms of doing this for society? That is, taking any complaint that they have and then investigating it and helping in the resolution. How busy have you been?
I would say the Public Complaints Commission has always been busy, even before we came on board in 2012. But there's been some sort of vibrancy, since we came on board. Because as commissioners, Public Complaints Commission, we head the commission in each state, and I happen to be the federal commissioner in charge of Lagos State. At least I can say for Lagos State here that this is a very busy commission, and I make efforts to let Lagosians know of the existence and the services of this commission, and I can only measure this by the amount of the number of complaints we receive. From 2012 till now, for instance, in 2012, the number of complaints was about 350 something. At the end of last year, we rose to about 1,085 complaints. That shows that people were getting to recognize the fact that we are there, and they are bringing their complaints. Apart from that, we have opened up avenues by which they can reach us, and we've been receiving complaints, from the citizens and residents of Lagos State.
So the Public Complaints Commission, it's one of the oldest commissions of its kind that have to deal with engaging with the people, their civil liberties and fairness, law and order and all of that. So the Public Complaints Commission is like an ombudsman.
It is the ombudsman.
The ombudsman.
It is the
In other jurisdictions, it is actually. In fact, does the Act actually have the word?
It doesn't have the word, and I dare say that in about 130 countries where we have the office of the ombudsman, not many of them have that name.
Okay.
But when you look at the activity, you can just easily define them. Because by the activity.
Exactly.
In Ghana, it has a different name. In Uganda, it has a different name. I think in Uganda they say it's the office of the Inspectorate of Government. Sorry, but they have an Inspector General of Government. In Nigeria, it's Public Complaints Commission, and then we have the Chief Commissioner at the very head of the commission. So, but it is basically the office of the ombudsman. And what the ombudsman is out to do is to ensure that cases of administrative injustice are prevented, or where they happen anywhere, they are stopped.
Okay, when you say cases of administrative injustice, what exactly is an administrative injustice? Are they things like the wicked bosses in my office have overlooked me for promotion? What is an administrative injustice?
It's as simple as that. It could very well be if your boss overlooked you, for promotion, because if you are due for promotion and you have comparators, for instance, within the system, and they get promoted, and you are left out for no just reason, and then you come to us, we are bound to take your case and we investigate. And if we find out that this is pure injustice, then we invite your boss and we try to resolve that. Now we can find that cases of administrative injustice in various
whether in the public sector or the private sector. There is no limitation to the Public Complaints Commission.
That's right. According to the Public Complaints Commission Act, the Public Complaints Commission or the commissioner is empowered actually to investigate any act of administrative injustice on the part of either the federal government, state government, or local government, and then corporate organizations, whether public or private. So
it
we take cases from them.
Okay, before I go to that question, let me also bring out something that I think is remarkable about your commission. Whereas these commissions are set up by government, in fact, this particular one was set up by the federal government too.
That's
but
right.
In the way it was written into the Constitution, you don't report to the executive, you report only to the National Assembly.
Precisely. And I will give you the reason why. The drafters of the 1999 Constitution believe that many of the organs of under the executive arm of government are actually the ones that interact with the people.
Okay.
And the National Assembly only debate, and then they serve as a check on the executive anyway. So in their wisdom, they preferred to locate the Public Complaints Commission under the National Assembly so that it could be in a vantage position to be able to look at what's been done in the executive arm of government, and then if there is any need to investigate, or at least to be in a position to criticize.
And so the thought must have been that the commission would feel easier, freer, less encumbered if it was not, because people say he who pays the piper dictates the tune.
That's
and
right.
so there might have been, possibly, although there doesn't necessarily have to be, there might have been some sort of a reluctance to pursue cases that go too close to the seats of power.
That's right. I mean, if for instance, you are my boss, and I'm under your ministry as an agency of government, like the parastatal, and then something happened. Sometimes, you see, on the basis of human relations, I think I may find it difficult sometimes to investigate you deep down there.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that it necessarily happens, because it sometimes depends on the personality of the commissioner. But at least it's better to remove what may be some form of hindrance in the work.
Although the assumption in this idea is that there will be no such, there's not likely to be any such hindrance from the National Assembly. Isn't what is good for the goose of the executive also good for the gander of legislature?
Yes, basically the Public Complaints Commission is supposed to be independent. But when you are placing an independent organization under, well, you're looking at two arms, and you want to essentially place it under the supervision of one of them, and you find it a bit more comfortable, to put it under the
two evils,
if you like.
I like the way you didn't commit yourself. If you like, I didn't say anything before they start putting it down.
No, they are not evils.
Yeah. How about the wherewithal? Because we've heard of public-funded agencies like this complaining about the lack, well, not so much the lack as insufficient equipment and funds and materials, that just about everybody wishes they had more men, more equipment, more money to do a better job. How bad is it in your case?
I will say right away that we are a victim. Because if we had had adequate funding, we would have done more than what we are doing now. Because, I mean, a lot of people accost me and say, look, here you are the commissioner, public complaints commission, we've never heard of this before. And sometimes I get embarrassed, but then don't I know the reason why? I mean, an organization like this, you want an organization, the agency to fight administrative injustice, it needs to be funded. You have to publicize to let people know. You have to go out to help, to visit places, to help people solve problems. As the Office of the Ombudsman, I mean, you are there to resolve issues. And we know, let us say, for instance, in Lagos State, where we have about the largest population in Nigeria as a state, you can say commensurately that the number of, the level of complaints will be higher than other states. And so I would expect to be funded enough to take care of the problems or the complaints of Lagosians. And it means a lot of funding. But when it's there on the internet, you can just check to see how much an organization like ours is funded. But we are working very hard at that. We want to convince the government that, look, this is the only commission that is in the Constitution, that is allowed to feel the pulse of the general public and to complain on their behalf. You cannot just put that in an insignificant place.
Indeed, Funsho, because I was going to come and ask that look, surely beyond resolving these disputes, which ultimately is your reason for being, one way or the other, is there a way so that there's a feedback by way of all sorts of, I imagine the administration should be interested in all kinds of feedback by way of research to know the pulse, as you put it, what the people are thinking. Is there a systemic way in which there is a feedback to the executive or some authorities as to what the pulse of the people is generally in terms of what they think of as equitable situations?
In many ways, yes. First of all, we are under obligation to render a report every year. And in the report, for instance, in my last report in December, I was able to do an analysis of complaints, areas where we have the largest number of complaints and all that. We are supposed to send these reports to the National Assembly, basically. But apart from that, we work with government agencies. We are not, to be honest, we don't play to the gallery. We're not supposed to do that. My agency works quietly with Lagos State government agencies as well.
Okay.
Be it LASMA, CAI, Ministry of Physical Planning, Ministry of Transportation, the Office of Public Defender, Citizens Mediation,
exactly.
Citizens
which itself
Mediation,
is related to
yes,
the judiciary,
Citizens
and these ones you're talking
Center,
about.
the multi-door courthouse and all that. We work with them quietly to help to resolve complaints in Lagos State. Now,
and I imagine that's the way it's going on in other states. That's the template, right? Or that should be the template.
That should be the template. The situation in every state presents a very peculiar
its own peculiarities that
approach,
will be addressed accordingly.
That's right. And so, by relating with them, for instance, we are now relating with the Ministry of Local Government so that we can reach out to all the local government and local council development areas in Lagos State. We are trying to set up a feedback mechanism by which we go directly to the chairman of a local government and tell him what the operatives are doing. We do not want these operatives to keep giving the local government a bad name. So when it happens, we want to report back to them. And at the moment, we are negotiating to have more contact points at the local government.
And this is information that you would have gathered by complaints, by people coming to you.
That's right.
You don't necessarily go out to investigate. That's not your job in the first instance.
We do go out because it's part of the law.
Okay.
We are supposed to be proactive to stop any act of injustice in the first place. Where we believe it may happen. Let us say that the government, through its organs, is carrying out some demolition. What comes to the mind of the ombudsman is, what's going to happen to them, to those whose houses are being demolished? Are they going to be provided some alternative? Is there going to be some social problems that will be created as a result of this demolition? We have to look into that. Where there are emergencies, it's not just the people. Let us say the boat capsizing and then people dying. For instance, we want to know whether the company responsible for transporting them is up to standard, that is, has really equipped
now the Public Complaints Commission will go into these areas without somebody coming to them to complain about it.
Without somebody coming to them to complain. We go into to these areas. We also want to know whether the relatives of those people who have been contacted are being treated very well, because they are anxious. Take for instance the issue of the Dana air crash. We were there. What we wanted to know was whether the relatives who were so much concerned, who were so traumatized, were being attended to. We wanted to be sure that they were being treated with care, because they needed that and all that, and then all those things.
For sure, although there are many other areas of responsibility, I'm sure we might get to some of them. It's sounding a lot like the PCC, Public Complaints Commission, is really set up to take the part of the little guy who doesn't necessarily have any power when dealing with big institutions. And so if he feels that his rights have been trampled upon, somebody's cheating me, it's because I don't have anybody, it's because I'm not a big man, they can actually come to you and you will investigate and, if need be, actually help mediate in the matter and make it right.
That's right.
Whereas this is a guy who doesn't have any money to hire any SAN to come and plead his case in court. And by the way, do you try your best to keep matters out of court?
That's precisely what we do. I have been working with the chief judges of the of Lagos State. At least I can say in the last two chief judges, yes, I worked with them, and it was just to let them understand what we were out to do to ensure that the courts were decongested. Because there are too many petty cases in there. Yes, we have too many cases in court that are not supposed to be there.
Some of which that the PCC could have resolved.
That's right.
Possibly.
That's right. And we do. Many of these cases that we handle could have ended up in court, but we try to bring the parties together and resolve the issues without spending a dime, and leave the parties, going away smiling, at least.
In that regard, first of all, let me ask the ultimate kind of a question in this kind of a conversation. That is to say, what if mediation by the Public Complaints Commission is unsuccessful in terms of the little guy, who I'm just calling that for now, cannot get redress? Can you then, after having exhausted all the possibilities, and are there indeed such instances, go on to somewhere else?
Yes, there are. I would say even about 2 weeks ago, I still handled the matter that I thought the parties were not trying to agree at all. And one of them still felt that he needed to receive certain compensation. I thought, look, if we were able to sort this out without this huge compensation that you're asking for, at least you go away not spending so much money. But if you go to court, remember that you're going to have to pay a lawyer. You're going to have to spend time, go through the process. Then sometimes the process could be cumbersome. And then you would have to go through it anyway, spending time. And at the end of the day,
you can't always be sure
you can't always be sure how it's going to end up. But here we are. The parties are very friendly with you. They want to settle the matter. And my take on that occasion was that, well, if you think the court will be the best to resolve this matter, then very well, you have your right to proceed to court. I think in such cases, we don't have too many of them.
Okay.
They do go ahead to court and then
so there can, in certain cases, be life after the PCC.
That's
in
right.
certain cases, but
yes,
hopefully, well, you say that there are the incidents of this is quite few, quite slim. That's nice. We'll continue this conversation, but I've got to go to a break now around this time. And when we come back, of course, I'll ask you questions as well. I'll add your questions as well. Stay with us, please. Okay, welcome back. We're having this conversation this morning with Mr. Funsho Olukoga, who is the Federal Commissioner for Public Complaints Commission in Lagos State. And, well, we've been learning, and as he said, there are people who have accosted him and said, well, Mr. Olukoga, we don't know about your organization. True, because he hasn't been spending too much money, perhaps not even enough money on publicity. Would you say guilty or not guilty?
I stand guilty.
But you know how people say, there probably is a reason. It's not that you're too frugal and don't want to spend the money.
Is there anyone who wouldn't want to explain why he or she is guilty? Well, I feel guilty because if I were to be on the other side too, and I would look at the Public Complaints Commission, I should expect more from the commission. And as I said earlier on, this commission ought to have been better funded than it is. And as I said also, we're still working on that with the government. There's a lot we could do.
Sorry, right there. As an indication to give me a very, very rough sketch of what we're talking about, what is the strength, for instance, of the Public Complaints Commission in Lagos and as against where you would think it should ideally be?
Strength in terms of personnel.
Personnel, specialized personnel.
We're about 79.
Is that an adequate number? How far inadequate is it, if it is inadequate?
It's not adequate when you consider that we should have contact points or area offices all over Lagos, so that people can reach us easily.
So you said 79, 89 or 79?
About 79.
About 79.
Yes.
Would a doubling of that make any difference, or a tripling, quadrupling? What would you like if wishes were horses?
If I had my way, every LCDA, every local government should have at least, and in every ward, we should have at least 2 officers. So we're talking of thousands, actually, in Lagos State alone, because of the peculiar nature of Lagos State. The population of Lagos State, I don't know about other states. They may need less, but I need more. And I was saying something about local government. We're working with the Ministry of Local Government in Lagos State. We want to have more contact points. At the moment, we have about 5. They are inadequate. We have our head office at Tafawa Balewa Square. And what it means is that if you want, for instance, to lodge a complaint, you have to travel. If you're traveling
from wherever you are
from
to
Badagry
Tafawa Balewa Square.
to Tafawa Balewa Square, that's a long journey. If you don't have the means of traveling, let us say that you've been sacked, and then all you want to do is complain about your employer, maybe unfair dismissal, or maybe you thought your terminal benefits have not been paid, then you do not have the money, then you have to travel from Badagry to Lagos. No, that's not on at all. And what we're trying to do is to have a contact point very close to the people. The 5 we're talking about at the moment are located in Badagry, Mushin, Lagos Island, Ikorodu, and Iba.
Okay.
Those are just the five.
How about this? Have you explored, I think it's a rhetorical question, because I can't imagine you saying no. I was going to ask if you'd explored, IT in this day,
yes.
modern day and age.
Oh, yes.
For instance, can you be reached?
Yes.
If a person can't travel but is a modern Nigerian, has access to the internet, can he at least start and get a lot of it done before needing to make that trip ultimately?
Oh yes, when we came on board, we established an online service, and people could actually reach us through the internet. We have a website.
How about the phone number? Like the police people have 822, and do you have any such device?
We have hotlines.
Okay,
yes,
that's no doubt available on your website as well.
That's right, on the website.
Where you could make contact with someone.
They actually submit their complaints these days through our website.
I see.
We receive complaints, and of course visitors just come and make inquiries on the website. They can see so much information. But I must say at the moment that pcclagos.com, that's the, having said that, we're trying to rebuild the website at the moment as I speak. That shouldn't take...
to make it less like the governmental kind of website that it is, and make it a bit more swishy and attractive and user-friendly.
That's right.
So it doesn't look like you're actually discouraging people from being able to do what they want to do, which is contact the PCC.
No.
Sometimes an old or stale website can give that effect unintentionally. Which is what you said you're working on.
Yeah, we're working on that. We're working on that so that there'll be more interactive services, better information, and there are more resources that we are introducing to the website so that people can. But in the next 1 week, that should be.
We in the very, very immediate future.
Yes, well, it's on. We just took it off, closed it down for now. Just we could.
Because if anybody didn't know about the PCC as much as they should know, then this conversation this morning might just push them to the internet, and then they can find out a lot more about the PCC. And now when you talk about this resource challenge, you talk about the men you have, resource people you have, less than 100. And you said that in the ideal case situation, it'll be about maybe 10 times that to even manage. I can understand that, but how seriously are they taking whoever, is it the National Assembly now? I don't know where you get your money from. At least are the staff happy? Because we all know what can happen to disgruntled workers. At least are they fixing the salaries of workers for such a crucial agency or commission?
We try to keep the staff happy, and then to keep them highly motivated.
Yes.
Having said that, some of the things that people go through, government employees go through these days, they also go through that.
That code, let me try and decode that area. Some of the things government employees go through, they might, sometimes their salaries are not paid.
Delayed.
1 moment, please. Mr. George from Ikeja has come online. He probably has a point or a question. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle Yeri.
Thank you very much for calling in.
Uncle Yeri, this morning as you speak about justice, it just crossed my mind.
I'm afraid we can't hear in studio. Can you?
Can't.
I can hear you well.
Okay. Sorry, George. Yeah.
Okay. As you speak about justice this morning, it just crossed my mind that we should be addressing the right quarters. Anybody that has any case of injustice, his ultimate journey rests with the Supreme Court, where he is expected to get justice. Mm-hmm. But where the Supreme Court itself has become a problem to justice, what do? Somebody steals something, and another person reports it. And the thief agreed that he stole, and there's a law against stealing. And the Supreme Court says, you stole, yes, you admitted you stole, but the person that reported it is not the right person. So we are setting the thief free. That is the picture I get from the recent justice we are getting or verdicts we are getting from the Supreme Court. If this is the ultimate that we will go to, where lies the hope? That's just my question.
A bit more volume. We can't hear as well as. Well, thank you very much, Mr. George. Maybe the other calls will be slightly louder. We had a challenge here, really hearing what he was saying. But we heard sufficient of it. I think the gist of what he was saying is that, look, ultimate justice is with the Supreme Court. Nowadays that things are the way they are, you know, you see, unfortunately, we couldn't hear as well.
From the little I can pick there, let me just say that, yes, the ultimate justice in the legal system at the moment is with the Supreme Court, but we have various levels where justice can be dispensed. At the local level, those who don't even have the means of getting
any form
to court
of intervention, to court.
Yes, a trader by the roadside, a trader there who feels that his wares were just, you know,
illegally confiscated or trampled upon.
Where do they
or
go
whatever.
to? Do they even have the means to go to court?
Unless a lawyer happens to want to go pro bono.
That's right. That's right.
And how many of them can spend all their time doing that?
So at the level of the Public Complaints Commission, for instance, we can try and get such a person some justice.
Because whatever, how is it that you can enforce what you come up with? Because let's say a person came with an injustice. What if he just thumbs his nose up and says, I don't care, who is NC, who is PCC?
There's an issue there, and that is where fundamentally the office of the ombudsman comes in. The ombudsman all over the world is there to ensure that issues are resolved, not necessarily through enforcement.
Okay.
That's the job of the ombudsman, really.
Okay.
That is, the ombudsman, through persuasive means, resolves matters, not necessarily.
So it's more like a recommendation of how to proceed.
We make but sometimes it goes far beyond recommendation. Let's say that in doing my job, I come across a crime, you know, maybe a crime has been committed, then I'm under obligation to report the crime and then to ensure that it is enforced.
Okay.
If, for instance, I believe that by coming into the public, by bringing the matter into the public domain, will solve the problem. That is, we put some some pressure on the organization. I'm allowed to do that.
I see.
I'm allowed to go to the press and say this, to report an organization as not. I did that recently. I did that
pressure
recently.
To bear.
Yes, I did that recently. If you remember the case of one Chinese manufacturing company, that I sent people there to go and investigate the cases of lack of safety within that organization, and they came back with a report that yes, it was far below standard. I immediately called that organization. I called a press conference and I called that organization should be sealed up, and it was sealed up.
Okay.
So you could
Your
do
counterparts
that.
in other agencies with that coercive power reacted.
Yes, they reacted.
So there's a sort of synergy.
Synergy,
you know,
yes, synergy there.
I beg your pardon, but somebody has been holding on for a while. And let me apologize to Mr. Precious, calling in from Abulegba. I wanted the commissioner to land with that point.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Yori. Hello?
Hello, Precious. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Yori.
Thank you for calling
I
in.
really appreciate the program you're having this morning with the PCC. It's very unfortunate that most of us do not know about the activities of PCC. And very few of us know about their activities, but we don't know the correlation between the PCC and other agencies who we report issues to.
Indeed.
Good morning, Mr. Commissioner. I really appreciate your explanations. And I would like to suggest that the way the PCC will work in this current century is to make access to the public to be more technologically inclined. Many of us cannot travel from Badagry to come to TBS or go to a bar to report, but we can make our reports online. Then when it gets to a critical point whereby our presence is needed, then we can now come to the office so that our case can be taken to the appropriate quarters. I don't know how we can reach you personally. I have a proposal which is going to improve on your services. I'm a young Nigerian.
Okay. Let me ask him if can you be communicated with on your website? A lot of websites have that where you could forward them.
Yes, we can be communicated through our website. But as I said, because it's down at the moment. But,
for the moment it's down.
Yes. In about a week we should be up with that. But more than that, I don't know whether he has completed.
They are Precious. No, we've let go of him. Okay. But I think he was really talking about how do we contact, how do we engage with PCC?
Yes. I mentioned earlier on that we were already working with the Ministry of Local Government. Now, apart from the 5 contact points we have at the moment, we have requested for 17 more contact points to be located in the local government council offices.
When you say you've requested to the people, to the institution you report to, the National Assembly? No.
Directly to the, I met the commissioner for local government.
I see.
In Lagos State. And we discussed that, and we have that consensus. We have that consensus already that we should establish more contact points. And we have now submitted a formal request.
Okay. Before you go further, Chukwudi is calling in from Mushin, where there actually is a contact center.
Yes.
Good morning, Chukwudi.
Good morning. Thank you very much. You know, every day you see police on the road. You see those who publicly collect money.
We can't hear. I don't know if it's your line. We can't hear.
Hello? Can you hear me now? Hello?
Maybe, yeah. Okay, go on. It must
Can you hear me?
It must be the speaker touching or something. Go ahead. We'll try and make it out.
Okay.
It's staccato, but we'll try and make it out.
Every day we see police on the road collecting money from Danfo drivers. Okay. Every day we see police on the road collecting money from drivers, and then they stop you. They want to also collect bribe from you. And when somebody is arrested and taken to police station, they will tell you police bail is free. They collect money. No police station fails to collect money before they release anybody on bail. How do we address this kind of evil that is going on? Can't the Inspector General of Police give an express order to all the DPOs that anyone found collecting bribe from people on the street or in the station, that DPO should be sanctioned? Can't this address this particular problem, which is so endemic in our police?
Okay. Thank you very much for calling in, Chukwudi. So that kind of a thing, first of all, a number of people on that issue. He spoke about the Inspector General of Police, and I think it must be a criminal matter, but does the PCC come into that? Because a member of the public might just want to complain about it.
I'm on that issue myself, and I've met the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 2. And we also decided to work together, very closely as far as that's concerned, because we receive complaints. And how I wish we were able to cover the whole of Lagos State.
Okay.
But as many as we receive, we get in touch with the police PRO, and they will report the matter. And to be honest, they immediately get into action to apprehend whoever is involved.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
In cases, in many cases.
180. You said about 187,000 cases.
No, in terms of the
cases
that
the complaints, total complaints,
complaints,
you know,
the complaints,
yeah,
yes,
the
cases,
complaints.
Yes, our workload for
Our
the
workload.
year, 1,080 something cases. Yes,
complaints
that
actually
was at
came
the
in.
end of last year.
Well, I
yes.
imagine many more will come in, and then you weed some of them that these are some of them are spurious. Not all of them can be serious, surely.
That's right, and this is where I need to inform the public that, you see, we have our laws that also protect people generally and organizations. You don't just come to us with frivolous
Things that you can
complaints.
substantiate.
You have to be able to substantiate your claims. You don't come, because if you do that, there is a law, that action is criminalized, and there is a law that regards that as there is a provision in our act that regards that as an offense. And
indeed.
if you're tried and convicted, it could be 6 months imprisonment.
So you have to be careful when you
have
come
to
and
be
lay
very
a
careful.
complaint.
You don't
that-
just come and complain and provide, inaccurate.
You can't bring frivolous and malicious complaints.
no, you can't.
Itodo, thank you for holding on. Itodo Inijaye.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, and thank you for calling in.
Thank you. I just want to buttress on the point the last caller made about the police. Just some few months ago, I arrested some culprits on my own as a private security officer. And I carried the culprit to the police, only for police to be asking for money to prosecute the case. I just don't know what to do about it. You arrest a thief on your own,
I don't
take
know
it to
what-
the
we
police,
don't know
and
what's
police
going
will
on.
ask you to bring money to prosecute the case. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you very much for calling in.
I wasn't able to pick out the substance of what the last caller was trying to
I'm
put
afraid it's a
forward.
slight technical problem. Let it be held because I think the people, to them it's bright and clear, but you can
Yes,
see
just
that we
couldn't-
can't hear what's
I
going
just
on.
couldn't hear that.
Well, this is something of a challenge. But
Yes, I was talking about some of the laws some of the provisions in our own law
that protect
that
people
protect
from
people.
malicious complaints.
Yes. Also, respondents are under obligation to come when we invite them. If somebody lodges a complaint with us, we are under obligation to also invite those against whom the complaints have been brought. That is, the respondents.
Close.
The respondents. So we just we invite them, but they must come when we invite them.
Okay.
They must come.
You can't just complain and then forget about it.
What I'm saying is, if they complain against a person, that person or organization must come, must respond when we invite them. If they don't, they can be arrested.
Okay.
And if found guilty, there's 6 months imprisonment.
So whereas
or
you're
fine.
concerned with getting justice and equity for people, you also take a very dim view of people trying to abuse the process.
We do.
Okay, well, one of the ways our PCC Lagos is, your website that will be up and running in about a week's time is the
PCCLagos.com.
PCCLagos.com when that time comes. But in the meantime, you can always get the PCC on a phone number. I could just give you one phone number, 0803, in case you got that, 0803, then 377, then 0139. I'll just take that number again, 0803 377 0139. Maybe before I go away, I'll give you the number again, but that's one number you could get the PCC on and at least begin to find out, investigate if your matter is worthy of their attention. They'll be able to evaluate and tell you if they can help you, that kind of a thing. Well, it's good to know, but I think we need to know a lot more about the PCC and their activities, because it's a laudable, it's a noble thing, and as somebody has pointed out, ultimate justice perhaps will come from places like the Supreme Court in terms of litigation and dispute resolution, but you know, there are instances where a person would not have had any at all if not for the PCC.
That's right.
I've got to go on a quick commercial break. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back now. And I said, let me try and give you that number again, just in case you need it or want to give it to someone. The number, one of the numbers you can get the PCC on, and when you go to the website, you find the others. But one for this program is 0803 377 0139. 0803 377 0139. Perhaps my guys upstairs will contrive a way to maybe just take away these phone numbers and just put that in there for a few seconds so that you can see it better. But once more, 0803 377 0139. Been a very interesting and enlightening conversation with Funsho Lukoga, who is the Commissioner of Public Complaints Commission in Lagos State. It's been quite enlightening. I wish you had more money. Maybe then I would have heard about you. But quoting last words as to how you intend to engage with the public, anything at all.
As I said, I want to assure the public that we are working tirelessly to reach them. And I want to assure them that this is one organization that has been established to cater for them, to serve as their voice. The drafters of our constitution, they knew that they needed an organization like this, and it's under government, and it is secure. You don't have to spend money coming to us. We won't take a cover from you.
Okay.
And we will work for you.
So people need to know that.
Yes, to ensure that whatever matter you bring before us, at least we will have somebody to listen to you and to assure you of what to do, and in many cases to resolve the issue on your behalf.
And it won't cost you a kobo.
It won't cost you a kobo. You do not have to suffer in silence.
Don't suffer in silence.
Don't suffer
Come
in
to
silence.
the Public Complaints Commission.
And we are there to help you.
So go to their website and 0803 377 0139. Thank you very much, Mr. Funsho Lukoga, for coming in and giving us this conversation today.
Thank you very much.
Our pleasure.
Very much, Mr. Folari.
I'll see you tomorrow, God willing, for a fresh edition. I'm Yori Folari. Bye-bye for now.